Check me out. It's true here, man. So I got this weird story. People will say what they have to. But before I get into that, my raffle is still going. So here's the rest of the rules, right? So my very first video I posted, you will have to go to that video and get people to comment your name. That's initiating the raffle. It's starting right now. And I don't know when it's going to end. I'm going to put that in the next video. But from right now, it has started. So like I said, like, comment, subscribe for the mind, body, and soul one time. And we into this. It's an old case, real old, real old. I never even heard about it. A friend of mine told me about it. She actually knows the person. So here we go. It's called Mr. David Strickland. So check it out. No weird stuff in the comments. Well, matter of fact, yeah, weird stuff in the comments because y'all been slacking lately. I ain't been feeling the love. It's okay. I know it has to grow, but it's all right.
Back here, a man convicted in a fatal 2012 shooting that killed one woman and severely injured another, appearing in court today, claiming new evidence had come to light. This morning, David Strickland appeared in the 13th Court of Appeals, but his appeal was struck down by the judge. This according to San Patricio County District Attorney Sam Smith. It was on June 23rd of 2012 when Molly Olguin and girlfriend Christine Chapa were at a Violent Andrews Park in Portland when a stranger found the two women blindfolded and sexually assaulted them before shooting both in the head. Chapa survived the horrific attack. David Strickland was convicted in 2016 for the fatal shooting of Molly Olguin.
Cool. So, yeah. How we gonna dive into this one? Yeah, how we gonna dive into this one? You're just sitting there looking. How we diving into this one? It's your friend. Or shouldn't I say that? No. We might have to watch what we say, but we don't know.
I mean, technically, yes. I'm not good at improv.
Yeah, you're not improving. We're talking. We're talking over the case, ma'am. You know, that's how it goes. You know, I might need you to be a little louder because the camera not catching you.
It's okay.
But say what you were saying. You was telling me earlier. See, that's why I like fresh mind stuff, you know. You got your little detective, as you call it, over there. Pick something. We're not improving. It's not comedic. It's we talking about the case. Remember you said you wanted to talk about the case. Let's talk about the case.
All right.
You know.
That's long though.
Hey. I mean, as long as they keep watching, they gonna get that 200. So hey.
I mean, that's fair.
So what we gonna start with first? The night, the day, the girl, or the girls?
I mean, probably there.
Well, I only had one question that I always ask. Is like, I'm not from New York, but I live in New York, and the females don't go out at two females don't go out at night in no park.
Teenagers.
I mean,
that.
It's weird still to even think about that. It's like two teenagers at night by themselves in a park.
In Texas, where being gay is not openly accepted.
Yeah. So why would you be outside?
Because
as people see you outside, they're willing to say something. So
because their brains aren't fully developed.
And how long ago was this?
2012.
2012. So that's less than 9 years.
And it took them 4 years to...
No, it's more. It's 10 years exactly then. Because it's 22 right now.
It took them 4 years to convict him, though. They convicted him in 2016 and sentenced him to life in prison, even though all the DNA evidence matches somebody else.
So the DNA matches somebody else, and he still got convicted to it.
Yes.
Like, isn't the law fucked up?
It is fucked up.
I mean, that's why I don't do crimes, you know?
That's fair.
Because it's like, I'm willing to do a crime, I am. But the only thing is, if I'm going to jail, I'm going to have to stay there. You feel me? Because I don't do the in and out, the go in, spend a couple months, come out, and had to figure out, like, I don't even want to figure out what I need to figure out right now. But we all got to put on our big boy pants. What else? We'll talk about his whatchamacallit, the letter. Because you had some insight on that letter.
I do. So, even though this came up 2 years later, after the crime, and also 2 days after the case was transferred by the lead detective, who was fired about a year after the whole thing started.
Okay.
So they say somebody delivered a letter, alleged Strickland. They say pieces of it were found on his computer. His mom says his computer was at her house, so there's no way without him being there that he could have written this letter. But I feel like if you're dealing with crooked police, they could probably input it wherever. But are you? Or are you not?
Tell me what you told me that you know about him that they probably didn't figure out themselves.
It took him 2 years to figure out that he had 6 years of military training.
And what else?
And deployed plenty of times.
Well, no, there was something else that does with technology specifically. Remember? That he said he was...
Yes. Super genius. And when they were deployed in Iraq, the man bought all the old satellite dishes and constructed an entire Wi-Fi signal. So he gave internet to everybody in their fob.
Now you're telling me a man who could do that
is so sloppy that he could get caught for murder.
Yeah, with a letter on his own computer. I mean, hey, there's some dumb criminals out there.
There are.
Dumb criminals out there.
I, however, do not believe that he is one of them because he's not at all dumb.
No, I honestly felt like this was a case of circumstance.
Absolutely.
You feel me? Somebody, they always have to pin it on somebody, so they're going to try to pin it on whoever.
Not to mention they almost processed this as a hate crime, but the man's best friend was a lesbian. And we used to go to the gay bar, drink together.
See? And that
so I'm not seeing the correlation there.
Yeah, they probably, as it happened, they knocked it down. Nope, we just going to rug that one under the rug, not even bring that up, because, we going to look bad.
So 6 years after they arrested him, they denied his appeal, even though they were appealing for 27 issues that were fucked up in the prosecution of the case itself.
Damn.
A lot had to do with the Texas Rangers that brought him in, a lot with the local cops. The test fire on the weapon that they claimed was his was done by one cop in a non-police setting. He fired the shit into a mound of dirt. 4 shots, only found 2 projectiles. It wasn't an ordered test or anything. Nobody knew he was conducting it, and that is the evidence they used to convict him because they said that those bullets matched the bullets at the crime scene.
Okay, so my whole thing with that would be is why would they not look at that person, because he already did something by doing the tests in not a police setting? What?
He also was not...
That's ground for mistrial in itself.
Exactly. Let me get this right. I want to say it was Chavez.
Don't know his name.
Officer Chavez was the one who fired a firearm. He did do it at a local sheriff's gun range due to the ongoing murder investigation. But he also stated there was no written request to test the firearm. And then he had 6 .45 caliber bullets at the range. He fired 4 of the bullets, retrieved 2 of the casings that he felt were in good condition. He explained he test fired the bullets into a dirt mound and only recovered the casings, but not the projectiles. Sounds like sloppy police work to me.
Yeah, because my whole thing is, we all know from watching forensic files and shit, you don't never shoot at dirt, you shoot it in the water.
Right.
We've known that for years, and this is before 2012. This is before that.
Oh, absolutely.
We used to see CSI do it all the fucking time. You see YouTube videos of people doing it way before, so we're not going to talk about what he did. I really can't say, but it would be dumb. Why are you shooting it at dirt and then going to look at it at your local gun range? Really?
Right, your sheriff's gun range, but you have no other cops present. You have no tests to even fire
Yeah, it's like,
the firearm.
well,
That,
what's to
mind
make
you got
anybody
into
think?
your custody because David Strickland was putting potting soil
Mm-hmm.
into his trunk at a local store. Somebody called the police on him because they saw his gun.
Mm-hmm.
The cops came to his house. He was outside with his dog.
Mm.
He went inside. They said he came back out with his gun. They said he had to turn it over to them. He showed them his concealed carry permit.
Mm-hmm.
They still took it anyway. And
Okay.
dude went and fired it into
Oh,
this
so
dirt
so
mound.
this
So
wasn't
it
even
wasn't even
before it happened.
technically, no, not even for that. It was just, hey, your gun was showing. Somebody felt unsafe in the parking lot while you were putting fertilizer in your trunk with both hands.
So technically, the bullets could have got mixed up anywhere.
Anywhere.
Because if it was already before it happened, what's the like? I'm not trying to call y'all idiots, but shit happens. It's just we know, like I'm sorry to say, but the government they don't like to apologize for nothing, so they're not gonna do that.
And the man was working for a private security company at the time. So, of course, he would have
Yeah, of
a
course you
gun
would.
on
Yeah,
him, a taser,
yeah. Tricks
you
of the
know.
job.
Exactly.
Hmm. It's just weird.
Very weird. They found none of his DNA at the scene, and they processed him simply on the fact that they found a portion of this letter on
Mm-hmm.
his computer, and this officer shot his gun into a dirt mound.
But
That is what
but
put the
that
man in jail for life for capital murder
in Texas at that, like,
in Texas.
they out there doing all that crazy stuff. But I tell you.
So, I'm very glad there
Mm-hmm.
was a survivor. It
Mm-hmm.
sucks that both of them did not go through, right?
I'm
Because you don't
still
want to
on what
see.
they was doing there.
No, that still doesn't make any
And
sense.
then we was watching the overview before. Like that, I don't know. It had to be a real windy night and all that. It had to be. Because you're not
And
telling
it
me you
was
ain't here.
because when they brought up the fact that the pubic hair found on the scene
Mm-hmm.
on the two ladies
Mm-hmm.
didn't match Strickland, but in fact matched Spellman,
Mm-hmm.
they said the wind must have blown it from the park and it just landed on them because there's one pubic hair in the whole park that just like
But
Forrest Gump feathers itself on a dead body. I
but
don't think so.
but even if it did that, even if it did do that, it still had an 8 hour gap. It ain't no hair gonna sit there for that long.
Right. Not only that, there was a monster can and cigarette butts
Mm.
found at the scene by the bodies. DNA on those matched to the same person
But they
that the
don't know
pubic
who
hair
that
matched
person
to.
is.
Dylan Wade Spellman, they do. His
Ew.
father is an arson investigator in Nevada.
Oh,
He
okay, okay.
previously committed a crime prior. He was waiting in Texas to be sentenced
Mm.
in Nevada for a home robbery
Okay.
where they tied everybody up and they referred to the people as girl one, girl two,
Mm.
man one, man two. I
Yeah.
think it was just females. But the chick from the park also said that when the person ordered them off of the pier down to the Outlook, he referred to them as girl one and girl two.
Yeah. Oh, hey. I mean, but everybody says that because they don't want to. Well, regular people would do shit like that, but still. My whole thing, what I don't get is how did he have that much time at a park?
Right.
Like, how did you
Why
have
was
that?
the same
Like, what
man and
time
his
was it?
girlfriend reported in the same park hours before the shooting? His
Hmm.
DNA matches all of the evidence, but they still put somebody else in prison
Well, that's because
based
somebody
on a
got to.
trajectory.
Then not just because somebody got to go down for it. They always got that rule. Like somebody has to pay for it. Like even if they find out the truth now, they can't process nobody for it. You feel me? That's why, like, when they go to jail or whatever and they serve their time and they come out and they start talking about what happened, because it's already processed and they can't do nothing else about it. But it's just crazy, though.
It's fair. Even the officer came out to say at the trial, he admitted on cross-examination that in hindsight he should have used the Corpus Christi Police Department's firearms range to test the gun because he could collect the bullet casings and projectiles.
He wasn't thinking about
When
that
they
then.
questioned about why he did not do
But
that
my
and why he
question is,
shot.
if it wasn't for this case, why did they shoot the gun?
Right.
Like, why would you shoot the gun in the first place? You went to check to see if he was supposed to have it. He was supposed to have
And
it.
you still
You still
seized
took
it.
his gun.
And then apparently he had come to the police station saying that he wanted
Yeah, of
to
course. So
get
that's
his
his.
property back. So the guy was saying because Strickland said he needed his gun back because he was going out of town, I believe it was, that he just went because he had no time to, go and actually process it. He just picked a spot and shot it in some dirt so that he could get it back to him before he left town, is what he claims.
But it still don't make sense,
Sketchy.
because if it's before it, like, are we sure on that him shooting the gun wasn't for the case? It wasn't for the case at
Right.
all.
No,
Okay,
it
cool.
couldn't have been because it says he even agreed on the stand that he did not know where the other two casings were. He also stated there were no witnesses or video of him conducting the test fire of Strickland's weapon.
Yeah, so
did
still.
you even fire it? Or
So he wasn't even known to this case that we're talking about while
Yeah.
he was shooting
No.
the gun.
Nope.
So yeah, how that, like, what? So you mean to tell me, well, what he did was, oh, I'll just happen to shoot this, and then it became real serious after the shit
Right.
happened?
And the
Like,
officer,
and nobody thinks that's a coincidence?
exactly.
Or it's like,
He also admitted that there were two incidents shortly following the murder where there were reports of shots fired in the same park, near the same park, and Dylan Spellman, whose DNA was matched at the scene, was in the area at the time
and
of
who's
these
this
alleged
Spellman
shootings.
fellow? What he does?
He was a plumber's assistant when all of
Oh.
this started. If you look at the case text, it's pretty clear that he is definitely more involved than the person they have in jail for this.
It could be, because it seemed like, I mean, he's
I'm
closest.
just speculating.
He
This
was
is
the
purely
closest.
entertainment.
Yeah,
I can't,
yeah. Like, we just going down the line of
Yep.
people that they said they was there. Like,
Exactly.
and honestly, if his is, we're talking for the simple fact is, you said his DNA was the closest to them, but yet he wasn't the one in jail. So how we're not doing nothing but
Because of some letter that they said.
But no,
he
it's not
wrote,
even that.
Which makes no sense.
What's good, huh?
I feel like run down trash.
I just hope you know you're gonna be on it now. I'll send it to you so you'll see it later. But yeah, back to it. Oh shit. Damn, where was I?
What's up?
But on the case, I don't know. Just his DNA being close alone would have been enough for me. But I'm not no judge, no jury,
No,
or anybody
it wasn't
that they.
enough for them because they, even with 26 reasons to dismiss the case, still said no, which is sketchy in itself.
Yeah, well, my big question is, what did David Strickland do tonight, bro? You ever get
That's what I need to know.
Yeah.
I don't believe he had involvement in the murder. The letter thing is sketchy. The
He
letter
did
does
something.
paint him in a bad way. I will read you some excerpts from that.
I mean, he did something.
He did. Could he have been a hitman?
Nah.
Not
Because I
not
don't
like
see
that.
soldiers like being hitmen unless they really gonna go
No,
bad.
and he
type
was
shit.
working private security. He had just gotten married. He finally had what he'd been looking for forever. I feel he's not gonna go fuck that up by killing two 18-year-old girls,
attempting, 'cause
killing one
died,
and
yeah.
attempting to kill another.
But then that will make it worse because he'd be a sloppy hitman.
Right.
Sloppy.
And if the military teaches you to do anything,
Just
it's
make
not
it-
be sloppy.
Well, they gonna make sure you're dead.
And how did it take them that long to even realize that he had prior military experience? He did two tours, I say.
This still wouldn't matter compared to if it's still sloppy for military, because it's like,
Yeah.
yo, they're silent and sleek. He's in a park where it's
Exactly.
windy and he can't. He like, if it was windy, he can't hear whoever is coming. Like, if we really talking tactics
Yeah.
here. Like, legitimately, if we're really talking tactics here, he can't hear who's coming. He would have to stake out the whole thing and see who's there on a regular basis
Right.
and know what day. But then at the same token, how is he tracking the girls?
Right. And why
Unless
are you
they
a
were
grown man
random.
tracking teenagers?
But they couldn't have been random because somebody had to know with both of them. And I still go back to you're gay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to say it that way. You like what you like. That's what I'm going to keep saying. It's hard for me to think, but you like what you like. and you're in Texas where you know people don't like that, and you go outside.
That's why they kept their relationship a secret, because
But
they knew
how is you secret if you're outside?
in the middle of the night. I mean,
If
I guess
once two
secretive, but
people
clear
walk into
there are
themselves, what
people
you're gonna
there.
think? Like two girls walking with themselves.
Right,
Like I mean,
teenage
even if they're not holding hands, it's either you're gonna think, "Where's your parents?" or "What are you doing here this
Right
late?"
in the middle of the night.
You feel me? And then people who hate would come down to the two assumptions: is either y'all come here to fool around, or y'all here with somebody, right?
You know? It's just so weird, because when you look at the evidence, it all points to
Yeah.
this other person.
I mean, yeah, that's what it says to me. But
He had committed a prior robbery in Nevada, so he was waiting for trial for that. So they questioned this officer about the interview in Nevada of Spellman. So they get to Nevada, they read him his Miranda rights, spoke with him for a little bit. Spellman invoked his rights and the interview ceased. Defense counsel attempted to admit the interview a second time, but the trial court sustained the state's hearsay objection that Spellman was not an unavailable witness. They also had a memorial event at the park for Molly Olgan. Chavez and other law enforcement obviously videotaped near the park to see if anybody matching the description showed up.
yeah.
But he also claims that he did not remember seeing Strickland on the videotapes. He also stated that as the police investigated Spellman and looked into his job in Portland, Officer Chavez believed the police officers found black duct tape, which is what the girls were tied up with.
Yeah.
They could probably match it to him if they tried, but it looks like they're not trying because they need a scapegoat for something. But what?
I mean, it could just be for that dude.
It could be.
I mean, he could know something or know someone.
And that is very much a possibility, too. It's just...
All hearsay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly it.
All hearsay. Feel me?
I couldn't tell you. Personally, I believe that they have the wrong person.
And my whole thing is to everybody that do bad things, even though I do bad things, but you know, the ones who do the real bad things. Whenever you get to your maker or whoever made us, whoever put us here, and he asks you what happened on this very moment, I really want to be there to see what half of y'all say. Real talk. For me, because I'm going to stand on mine. I don't know about y'all. I'm going to stand on mine because I know where they got my place at. And as I see them, I'm going to be like, yo, son, we don't even need to talk. Just tell me where I'm going. For me, I don't got no questions for you. Because you know all the questions, so I just going to go.
All right, now this is complete hearsay. It's just internet speculation.
Air in the air.
I can't guarantee.
That's all it is.
I can't confirm or deny.
We're going to call it air in the air. You know, every time we say air in the air is speculation.
So a close friend of his that lives in Texas. I happened to see this on Reddit, which is why I'm saying that it is just hearsay.
Hearsay.
Although I do believe that this person and him were actually friends, IRL. So he goes on to say, let's find him. Where are you? Okay. If you read the transcripts, you'll see where Velleman, who I believe is one of the officers, mentions that his wife knew Strickland, which you could say is a soft acknowledgement that he knew Strickland as well. There should also exist a recording of me personally calling, not me personally, but him personally calling the anonymous tip line, telling them it was my understanding that Strickland was friends with some of the Portland Police Department, which would make sense. You're in private security. You're going to be around law enforcement. You have prior military training. You know.
Yeah, like that. Like that's not the time. That's the crowd you would run it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
he said, all right, let's see. To which, would be the recording, he said that, to which Velleman himself answers yes, but I'm pretty sure there's no way for the public to get their hands on that, if even it still exists.
And that was in the courtroom.
Yes, and that was him saying he called the
Oh no, wait.
anonymous tip line. So you have this
But he
recorded.
said it in the courtroom, or that was just on the
No, no,
Reddit
no.
thing.
Just saying, like, if you read the transcripts.
Oh, okay. So he did say it in
So
court.
he's
Okay.
saying there should be an existing recording that they should have submitted into the case of him calling the tip line, because what the fuck is the point of a tip line otherwise?
Yeah, yeah.
But he was
It's almost
saying,
like
if you
the
read the
body cams.
transcript from the court, the cop admits that his wife knows
No.
Strickland.
Okay. Damn.
He
So
said,
it
as
all
for the
could be.
stuff about Strickland suspecting himself to have been the intended target, Strickland gave me a sealed envelope roughly 2 weeks after the murder, addressed to Melcher with instructions to mail it in the event that he disappeared, died, or committed suicide, in air quotes. I held on to it for 8 months until he asked for it back, but he didn't know that I had shined a light behind the envelope to read some of the document inside. I told the police about all this right after his arrest. My attorney told the police that I don't want my name released to the media for fear of retaliation, and I'm sure they were happy to comply with that.
So he read it and said what? He didn't tell the story after that?
No, he said the local medical staff who heard about the duct tape back in 2012 before it was publicized is a relative of mine who refused to get involved. They heard it from coworkers who I guess know people in the ER that treated Christine or something. Again, all hearsay.
Damn. Yeah, it just keep getting worse and worse.
Right.
Oh.
Let's see. Somebody asked him, did they have Christine listen to the voices of both Spellman and Strickland saying the same words that were said during the attack?
So
I
she might
imagine
not
their
remember
voices
that.
would be different and she'd be able to identify it from there.
No, I don't think they will remember that because the whole hit to the back of the head and all that. I don't know if that's where like the voice nerves is, but you never
Well,
know.
right. I'm not sure. You're taking sole police testimony from a girl who got shot in the back of the head, execution style, and lived. Like, they said for the first couple months she could only communicate with a system of blinks and like hand squeezes.
But didn't you say she woke up like 2 hours or 3 hours after she the whole shit happened?
Yeah, like, I believe so.
Yeah, I remember.
But she couldn't talk
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah, it's crazy. Like damn.
So, Guy said to that question, he said, I don't believe there was. Many of us know Strickland have wondered the same. He's never told me about having to make a recording for her to hear. Another
Also,
question
Strickland
would
was
be,
a popular dude. Oh well, not popular, but a well-known person type.
yeah,
Thing.
I would imagine, like, yeah, being
was
in
a good dude.
security
Yeah, he
and
was a good
stuff,
dude.
you know.
Yeah.
Somebody else asked.
I just want to know if he did. What was the motive?
Right.
Because then it was
and
still
knowing him personally, so let me give you a little background on that.
Okay.
So, in 2009, my husband joined the Army. We moved to Fort Bragg. He deployed about a week after we got married. That was when I met Strickland. He was at our wedding. Nobody really knew him. He was good friends with one of his former soldiers who ended up being our roommate for a long, long time. So that is how we met. Knew him for a long time. He's incredibly smart, which also would lead me to believe that he wouldn't be stupid enough to commit a crime and leave any type of evidence that would be tied to himself, let alone write an entire letter saying somebody basically hired me to kill
to
your
teenagers.
daughter
To teenagers.
because of some ridiculous shit. I'll find that for you in a minute here.
But continue your story while you look though.
Okay. So, one of the other questions people want to know is why wouldn't a defense attorney have the piece of hair processed when the other DNA results you process at the scene don't match the client? So, if everything matches the one dude and not the other dude, how could they convict the one who seemingly wasn't even there based on the DNA evidence at the scene? They found none of his.
But that's the thing. It wasn't just based on that evidence. Because if it was, then he would be acquitted.
It was the gun and the letter. The letter is like a weird thing that I don't understand where it could have came from. Like I said, his mom, I mean, that's your mom. She's fucking not gonna lie. She might lie, but I doubt it.
Oh, yeah.
If she says his shit was there, and apparently his wife delivered the letter because she got arrested when he got arrested, but she was let out like a week later and dropped off the grid. We have no idea where. I have no idea.
Well, he told her
personally.
well.
She's good. Is she out there? Yeah,
Well,
she's doing her
he
thing.
told her well. Shit, she might be the missing link for all we know.
That's what I was thinking too, because it was speculated that she did know these two girls.
Yeah, I heard her.
But-
Hear, say.
Yes.
All in the air,
All of
inside the air.
Entertainment purposes. Speculation on something that we can never say whether or not it's true.
But quick, brief intermission. Like I said before, that $200, if y'all want it, you gotta like, comment, subscribe, and put your name on the very first video that I posted. You know, I will not take anything if it's less than 10 people. You feel me? I really want to try to generate something over here to see what's going on. So let me know what y'all think. Back to the story.
Oops. Okay, let's see. Okay. Everybody wants to know, so I'm just looking over like questions that have been speculated on that I can't answer either, but I also have a lot of them myself.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? People online are better detectives than detectives.
Facts. That's facts.
You
So
know?
another question I have is why Strickland? Surely not just one cop had an issue with him. Guy said it was at least 2 cops. He'd been making waves in retaliation to more than one crime, as I understand it, but for right now the information is too sensitive for me to reveal.
No, I don't know.
So the letter you speak of, why hasn't Strickland disclosed the content himself, as it sounds like it would show reasons for him being targeted for a cover-up if he did, in fact, write the letter.
But that still wouldn't help him get out, though. It's like, you just heard what they just said. It's like, yo, even the evidence that's pointing north still led back, and he's in the south.
Yes, yes.
So either which way is like he could be fully innocent, and something in that whole case says it's him, and they're going with it. Like, cause what's to say? Let's say the gun. Well, is the gun that did it, or isn't the gun that did it, and has a less than a centimeter of a bullet trajectory made from it, and they just can't tell the difference. Because yes, they said all guns have not the same stride, but some of them might just be different just a little bit.
There is speculation, too, that the color of his gun, while the same type, has the same bullets, same 45s.
Yeah.
As the gun that allegedly did the crime, one is reported to be silver, the other is reported to be black.
Which one did the girl say?
I'm going to fuck this up if I don't look, but I want to say they said silver.
Okay.
And his
I mean,
was not.
if it was dark, she wouldn't have seen it. So, you feel me?
Yep. Exactly. I was
Especially because
thinking
it was on the beach. Like you can hear all that. I don't know, because it's like people normally are outside on the weekends and all that, on the beaches and stuff.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's like what would you would have to be there really, in the middle of all of it. Honestly.
Absolutely.
Anything else to add, or are we done with this one?
We could wrap it up for now. We
Alright,
could revisit this at a later time.
I mean, yeah. If y'all comment say you want to go back, we can go back. So
You got questions? You got stuff you want answered? Again,
I don't answer no
hearsay.
question. I'm only playing.
He does. Don't let him lie to you.
Yeah, I answer questions. I wouldn't even hold you. I prefer questions, really, but still. Like, comment, subscribe. This your man, True. Introductions, no introductions. No, you just gonna
You
wait
just
till
call
they
me
start
Jay.
asking.
You
Yeah,
just call me
just
Jay.
call her Jay. But y'all start asking, and she'll say her name eventually. But like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget. Help me get to 3,000. I'm out.